All right. We are now recording. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are joining us from. I'm excited for the panel we have today. We're going to have some fun. So I am Jessie Weisgal. I am part of the Verizon Channel marketing team, and I'm going to be your host and moderator for today. So why are we here? This is a joint effort between Verizon, CSG, and Simplifi. We're going to have a discussion on plug and play solutions. So specifically a solution from CSG and Simplifi. Our focus today is going to be about why is it different, why this product stands out in the marketplace, and what the competitive advantage is it's going to give you with your customers. So this is a panel format. We have 0 slides for you today. We don't want to bore you. I've been given supreme cosmic power to ask whatever I want to our panelists today. So hopefully we're going to be fun, entertaining, and maybe a little bit of informative. So without further ado, I'm going to give each of our panelists about 60 seconds to introduce themselves and their background, maybe their favorite dog, and we will get right into it. So first off, I'm going to hand it off to Mike. Please introduce yourself.
Oh, thank you very much. A pleasure to be here, guys. Most of you probably or hopefully know me to some capacity. You probably got the invite from me personally, but I'm Mike Pittman. I'm the president and founder of Connected Solutions Group. Obviously, very proud to be Verizon's largest co-sell partner in channel. Have been for 4 years, really dedicated to driving business for you guys. And, it's our job to find ways to make you competitive, to give you unique angles to attack your customers with. And we think we have one here, and we're really excited to get into it today. And the Simplifi guys are great. I've known them a very long time, actually. Many years, and I'm excited that they're now Verizon certified and have this solution available for us to partner with for your customers. So I have 3 wonderful dogs who I'm obsessed with. I'm about as big of a dog person as can be, including one that comes to the office with me every single day and is part of the culture of CSG. His name is Jefferson. So you threw dogs in there. I'm definitely going to have to mention him, but excited to be here today, guys.
That's awesome. I think we're going to need to see pictures of Jefferson later.
Absolutely.
So next up, we have Nick from Simplifi.
Thanks, Jessie. My name is Nick Shevillo. I'm the CEO of Simplifi. I've been with Simplifi for about 8 years. Originally got involved with Simplifi from the investment management side. Came from the private equity world and was on the board. And recently, about 6 years ago, came in as the acting CEO and now full-time CEO. And our whole goal is trying to bring customers advanced connectivity solutions in a simple, easy to deploy solution. And so that's what we're all about. And so we're really excited now that we're getting into the Verizon channel and bringing the success that we've had and being able to bring that throughout Verizon. So we're really excited about it.
Awesome.
Oh, and by the way, from a dog standpoint, I don't have dogs, but my sister is a rescue fanatic and she rescues golden doodles. So if I didn't say golden doodles, she might have a problem with that. So, but avid dog family.
Those golden doodles are so adorable. Speaking of golden doodles, I may need to reintroduce everybody to Jim Reed, who is also from Verizon. You may not recognize him if you have seen the flyer for this event. So Jim, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Jessie. So Jim Reed, not particularly a golden doodle, but I am with Verizon Wireless. Part of my roles are within channel, the mobility co-sell partnership and team that we have on our side of the business, which I'm sure you guys have all worked with through CSG. So I've been engaged with Simplifi now for almost 2 years, working on certification and bringing them to market with Verizon. Many of you probably know my peer, Jeff Beach, who is on this call as well. Jeff directly works with Mike Pittman and CSG, and I do as well through certain OEM products. So from our perspective, everything today, we're going to really focus on Simplifi, and then CSG has created an offer to help make sure that it's feasible for us to deliver that connectivity and solution to our mutual customers. And thank you, Jessie. No dogs, by the way, but we do have a cat named Kiki. So thank you, guys.
Cats are great too. All right, next up, another Verizon fellow colleague. I'm going to turn it over to Kara.
Hi, thanks, Jesse. So hi, everybody. My name is Kara Joyner, and I am located in Atlanta, Georgia. So I've been with Verizon for 8 years, started in small to medium business, then went into major account sales. And for the past 2 years, I have been a client partner in the investment space, previously named acquisition. So I really am looking forward to sharing my success story with the Simplifi solution and one of my customers. It has been fantastic. It's fantastic for them, and it has really just been a great solution to be able to present to other customers that I've been working with as well. So, and I don't have any dogs, just 2 cats.
Awesome. I am looking forward to hearing more about some really awesome deal that you closed. So now that we are all best friends, I just want to remind our attendees that this call is being recorded. So if you miss us, you can watch the replay. If you couldn't make this live recording, you can also watch the replay. And to orient people who are joining us live, at the bottom of your window, you should see the chat widget. So if you want to say hi or tell Nick his hair looks great today, you can use the chat. If you want to ask a question for any of our panelists, you can use the Q&A widget. So type your question. We have a few folks in the background who may answer you directly. Otherwise, near the end of the call, we'll try and get to those questions as many as we can. So regardless, the team is going to be available on the panel and afterwards to help answer any questions that you may have. So we are going to jump right into it. So first up, I'm going to direct the first question to Mike. So you gave us a little bit of a background about, you know, who CSG is, but can you tell us a little bit more in depth about what you do and this new MSP offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously proud to be a part of the co-sell program. It's just a brilliant program that Verizon leadership has put together that allows us to be compensated for lead sharing with Verizon and pairing to drive solutions that move businesses forward. And it's not just selling a piece of equipment. It really is about you know, adding a lot of different services that allow that technology to do whatever the customer needs it to do, alleviating the pain points and deployment and fulfillment and connectivity and long-term support off of everyone, the OEM and Simplifi in this circumstance, the Verizon reps and the teams who, you know, really need to be focused on selling and relationships, and then the customers who, you know, aren't networking or cellular experts, and we can really provide that level of security for everybody involved in the transaction. And to be able to receive some compensation in the program to offset these costs, it's a brilliant partnership that we have together. And we've really dove hard into managed services. A lot of you guys on this call have had to listen to me the last 2 weeks talking about the launch of the managed services. We did a press release last week. We really see this as the next step of the Verizon CSG relationship. We don't want to just support the customer through the initial part of the transaction. We want to support them through the life of the deployment of the product. And we believe that where we sit in the landscape of this allows us to do that more aggressively price-wise. We can be super aggressive for the customer, but also our skill set is so hyper-focused on these solutions that we can do it better than anybody. We can give them the attention they want at a price that they can afford. And it's because we're tied in with the OEM and because we're tied in with Verizon and the customer becomes our mutual customer. We have our tentacles wrapped around so many different pieces here that it actually makes a lot of sense for us to support the customer. And the Simplifi product, guys, you know, we have over the years, and we've obviously serviced and installed and configured every Verizon certified routing device that's out there. You know, our engineers, our staff has dealt with them all. And what we've decided as we've matured and grown a little bit is there are certain solutions that are a better fit than others. There are certain manufacturers who have a better customer experience than others. And we're steering you and your customer towards the solutions that we know are going to provide a better customer experience. It's not always about price. It's not always about, you know, what will just immediately get the deal sold. We want to make sure the customer is happy with the experience that they're getting a product that is going to work for them, that is not going to cause a poor experience 6 months down the road. And the simplified device fills a gap that is out there in ease of deployment and simplicity. And we'll talk more about the device throughout this webinar, but to be able to pull something out of the box with an Ethernet port, plug it into an outlet, scan a QR code, and be up and running. And for our engineers to take a couple weeks, as soon as these devices got Verizon certified, we put them through the gauntlet ourselves. And we said, all right, let's verify, I've known these guys a long time. We love the guys at Simplifi. Let's verify that this is going to be a solution that's going to work for our customers and that we're going to have a positive experience. Our guys fell in love with the ease of deployment of the product. And to me, how many times have we had these conversations where the clunkiness of going back and forth, 17 configuration emails, customers getting frustrated because they're getting something out of the box that they can't get set up quickly, timelines are being missed, and our engineers are doing everything they can to get it to go into remote portals and get this stuff addressed and make it happen. And it just isn't happening quick enough to make the customers happy. This product solves for so many aspects of this, and it gives you a level of flexibility that just doesn't exist out there in the market. It's still extremely affordable, and it has a very easy to navigate cloud-based portal. So there's just a lot of different ways that we feel this particular device fills gaps. And although we've kind of shrunk our focus onto certain routers and IoT devices, because there's so much out there and so much that can get kind of difficult to weed through, we've laser focused on a few, and this simplified product is absolutely one of the devices that fits gaps for you guys, and that we are very confident are going to give you remove barriers to entry and open up new doorways that weren't there before.
Oh, thank you. So Nick, do you want to follow up with kind of, additional comments on the Simplifi Connect, why it's unique?
Yeah, I think Mike hit most of the key points. It's all about ease of deployment and it's being able to stand up an enterprise grade routing system, right? You look at MiFi's easy to deploy, but you look at some of the high-end routing features that are necessary in today's marketplace. We've basically taken the ease of deployment, that flexibility, along with the enterprise grade routing features, and put it into one simple, easy to deploy box. There's no external antennas, there's no external power supplies. Literally, you have the SIM card in it, you plug it in, and it's ready to go. It also has the built-in failover capability, right? So you can plug in a wireline directly into the system, and automatically that becomes the primary, and LTE becomes the secondary. And through the app experience, it walks an individual through that setup in a very easy situation, right? So you don't need to have a truck roll, you don't need to have a technician go out on site. And we win 90% of our opportunities because we meet all the technical specifications they need from an enterprise grade router, but the ease of deployment is the differentiation, right? And the mobility of it, right? I can actually move it from one location to another. I can unplug it, put it in my backpack, and I'm ready to go. And through our app experience and our remote management capabilities, we can do a lot of things remotely. And we've now brought that down next week in our app, next release of our app. You're going to be able to do a lot of things remotely through the app, right? So I can be anywhere in the world and see where my devices are, get alarms and alerts when they go into failover mode, be able to do actionable events. So we're really trying to make things super simplistic. And that's what's really winning us a lot of business.
Now, I think before we started this webinar, you were showing us you had the app up on your phone. Do you have show us the device and the app?
Yeah. So basically the device comes in almost an Apple style box with a QR code. When you open it up, you have a insert and then the device is in the box. And this is the simplified device, right? It has an Ethernet port, a USB 3, you unplug and you basically just plug it into a wall. SIM card is put in here. If you want to go into connect your wired line, we provide a dongle. So we can plug in your wired line through this, and then you can plug this into a switch. So, you know, we run our whole office. We have over 75 devices just in our Naples office connected through a Simplifi device. I actually have one where I just have one set up in my office for demo purposes. But I'll pull up the app here real quick.
Yeah, and while you're pulling up the app, I just want to address some of the questions that we're getting on the chat. The Simplifi product is under the name of Bright Sky LLC. So if you're looking for it, it's certified under Bright Sky, doing business as Simplifi. So they are certified.
It's so, I don't know if you can see with the, if it's too, but you can see that, you know, I have a device, I can see the RSSI, I can see that my wired line's connected. I can see that the Verizon cellular network's up and my failover is active and ready. I can see the number of devices, but if I wanted to, I could click on failover. If I didn't understand what it was, it will walk me through a very easy way to be able to go set that up. I can see the devices that are connected to it. If for whatever reason I wanted to block a device for whatever reason, I could block a device from the network. I can easily set up the guest network with just hitting a button. So I've enabled the guest network. I can change the password. I can go into the device. I could set up email alerts. So if I wanted to go in here, I can enable email alerts. I can type in any email address, hit apply. So if I go into failover mode and I wanted an administrator or myself to know that I'm actually in failover mode using the data, I can do those types of things. I can even see where my device is, right? So we actually have it on a map. So anywhere you have these things in the world, right? If I have them plugged in everywhere, this is Florida, right? I can see it, a global map by just going in and out. So I can see all my devices. If I wanted to add another device, it's just click device, add a SIM card. I click next, and this is the QR code. I just scan the QR code on the back of the device, and then I go and plug it in and I'm ready to go, and it will pop up in the system. So it's really just that simple from a deployment standpoint. It tells people very, very quickly the status, the RSSI, and if my device is set up correctly. And then you're just ready to go.
So that sounds really easy for like an end user home perspective. But I think, you know, there's also, it's not just for like small businesses, like there's also an enterprise option as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things, and we've been getting a lot of leads from actually Verizon on this, but the whole work from home, for example, where people were looking for connectivity issues, they were maybe on their home networks, they were getting taxed. So there was a lot of challenges that where people are having. And the MiFis that were sent out there did fill the gap, if you will. But now that is probably going to be something more of a norm moving forward. So they're going to need a little bit more enterprise grade. Some of these larger enterprises are looking at how they can remotely monitor and manage these devices for employees. But how do I get them set up? So we have enterprise opportunities where they have several hundred work from home employees where they want to send a Simplifi out and they can plug it in. They don't have to have a technical background. You can be set up on VPNs, all the types of things, and they can remotely monitor and manage those things. So if employees are having problems and they're on their own standalone network. So it's those types of deployments that are really starting to see value with the device like Simplifi.
Can I sneak
Mike,
in there,
I think
Jesse?
you were jumping in.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, tremendous point that Nick just makes there. You guys know a lot of those hotspots. We did a ton of hotspots. We called it MiFi Mania there at the beginning of COVID. You guys put in a lot of opportunities to us that we did have to fill that gap. A lot of those customers are now turning to make that a permanent relationship with that employee. This is a more permanent solution. This is a more reliable solution for every reason that we just went through. That could be just a phone call about how is the connectivity going with the hotspots that you're providing, because these are next level, and these can stay as a permanent fixture for a home office, and then go if that person goes on vacation or has a home at the beach. they pop this thing in their backpack and take it to the beach, and they're working on their company's data at their beach house. I mean, it's just that type of flexibility that is really unique with this product. And I wanted to answer a couple questions that I saw. My good friend Aaron Janikowski asked if they're certified for the business internet plans. They are. They can be put on the BI plans. So that is a definite yes, Aaron. And my other buddy there, Mr. Hensler, is there a process to obtain a demo? I will absolutely provide demos if needed. Just contact us directly. Matt, you can call Brock and say, I need a couple of these to be able to play with at the office, and we'll make sure that you get those. And thank you, Jesse, for letting me interrupt there. I appreciate it.
No problem.
And Mike, one more point that you said, this whole work from home. I was talking with a CIO of one of the state agencies on the West Coast a few months back. And what she said was, it's not a work from home situation anymore. It's a work from anywhere situation, right? So now they need to be able to provide their employees the ability to be able to work from anywhere. Now that they can work from home, the ability to be able to work from anywhere. And maybe they have an elderly parent that they wanted to go see in Montana, for example. They love the idea of this device because of the portability, but also gives them those enterprise grade features. So it's that type of problem that we're solving for enterprises and their employees.
Great point. All right, we're gonna bring Jim and Kara into the conversation. The next couple of questions I'm going to direct to them. So, Jim, how important are these fixed wireless solutions to Verizon and our customers from what you're seeing?
Good question. So it's extremely important, first off, to answer that. We all know fixed wireless is one of the fastest growing internet service options in America, statistically, right? Basically, we all know fixed wireless forgoes having to have physical wiring, right? It's in favor of the wireless setup. So all of our customers, they're seeking these fixed wireless solutions. Verizon's in the prime position for that connectivity, along with CSG, their service offering, and the Simplifi products. Can't get any better than that. So how important, just to wrap that up, it's extremely important. It's everything that Verizon needs to do to deliver those services. Again, in tandem with our partners on the call, it's a perfect storm.
Great. And Kara, having sold this solution, what kind of challenges do you see for reps when they're selling this kind of portable service to customers?
So this particular product, it's the 9th largest home builder in the country is using this particular product. And that was actually brought to our Verizon team by the customer. They had been using this and wanted to put it on our network. So fortunately, they were able to, Simplifi was getting certified at that time on the Verizon network, and everything was done. So it was a great situation that came together to help this customer. The ease of use of this is really what had closed the deal for our customer. You are able to easily send a product out to the customer, just as everybody's talked about. They can easily connect it. Your mom could do it, your grandparent could do it, your teenager could do it. So one of the main differences that I've noticed is that I've been working with some customers, and they're trying to get some cradle points set up in some houses for some of the upper executives, and it's just been very back and forth, and they have to send an engineer out to make sure everything's working. And in the scenarios that we've been experiencing, it's literally just a plug and play. And then when you bring in CSG into the equation, such as my customer has done, it really takes away the need to have them manage things, worry about it. They just handle it. So the name of the product itself speaks everything as to what the customer is going to get. It's a simple solution, and it's simple to manage, and you go very quickly, which is what we know our customers like.
And real quick, on that particular opportunity that Kara's talking about, we're providing full end user support for the individual customers that this home builder, what they're doing is the Genius program. They're giving the customer 30 days of connectivity over Verizon and Simplifi when they build a home, and we're supporting those customers. And then the customer has the option after those 30 days to carry on and continue using the Verizon service or whatever internet they plan on getting. But that's a good example of the managed services that we can do. I mean, that's obviously a big enterprise customer, and it can be any level of managed service depending on what the customer needs. But in that example, it goes as far as us having a dedicated 1-800 number for their end users that are purchasing the homes to call and support the product if they have any issues whatsoever. So just a good example of the partnership really working here, and why all of the pieces involved on this call kind of make this such a viable solution at many levels and effective for both the customer and the Verizon rep.
Those are great points, and I think we've addressed the ease of use, how simple it is. If my mom can plug it in and make it work, it's already a miracle. So the enterprise capabilities, the fact that it can be deployed on a larger scale, and not only that but supported. I just want to call out a question we received that it's also been very helpful for the crisis response team. So I do want to, Mike or Nick, have you address, the use cases for public sector and where you've seen this being applied.
Yeah, I'll take that. I saw Jason. Jason, thank you, brother, for the shout out. We love working with Verizon Response. It's without a doubt one of the more fulfilling parts of what we do day to day is just helping those guys out. We feel like almost an extension of them sometimes. Whether they want us or not, we feel that way. So it's fun to work with them. I think there's lots of opportunities in public sector. Again, just based on if a lot of pop-up or remote or quick deployments that may be temporary. Say you're setting up shop and you've got a vaccine testing site, and you've got different areas of a parking lot that you have to have connected, and then you move to a different county for the next shift. Guess what? You've got something that can go with you. That's an enterprise grade router that you can still, if you're if you're spinning up a full network and you're going to go have Ethernet there, you can still utilize that. You can have this on standby as failover. It can be the primary. It can do a number of things, and the portability really gives you a lot of leeway to be creative. And I think, Nick, you can speak to a couple specific government opportunities that you guys have won recently that more details on than I do.
Yeah, so a couple key ones. FEMA's a really good one, right? So when you have emergency trailers and those types of things that need to be popped up, there's great use cases there. But we were just awarded 2 contracts. One was for providing internet in shelters where they needed to be doing remote learning in shelters in New York. And the other one was bringing into the housing, into the government housing projects and being able to deploy Wi-Fi throughout Manhattan. So we won both of those deals because of the ease of deployment. They don't need to have a technician go out and do the installation. But we also have a remote management portal, right? So we can help when there's troubleshooting that needs to happen in the initial setup through CSG and those types of things. So a great example is we were in these housing deployments and they weren't getting the throughput. We were able to switch the Wi-Fi from 2.4 to 5.8 remotely, and boom, all of a sudden they were getting 50 megabit download speeds, getting coverage throughout the whole facility. They were 600-foot apartments, and now we're doing a massive deployment throughout Manhattan. So those are a couple of the initial government opportunities that come to mind, but there is a number of them from all type of SLED opportunities where we're getting pulled in.
Thank you for the follow-up. So Kara, to kind of tail into that, there's such a broad scope of use cases and opportunities. How do you go about kind of identifying customers that may be a good fit for this solution?
Gosh, that's a great question. And when we were talking about just different questions that may come out of this. But quite honestly, I see that every customer is a good fit for this. I think that I have a couple of restaurant retail type establishments. We've been talking backup for them. Super easy to put out, deploy. But then you even think about your current customer base, where I have CEOs that have to have great connectivity at their homes in the enterprise type routers. So I really do think that it is a great product across the board for our customers, because it's for the enterprise, small, medium business, but then even for the individual users that work within those companies.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to throw out a fun question to break it up. This is going to be a first come, first serve opportunity. So the first person who answers my question will get the opportunity to answer my follow-up question. So, all right, Star Wars or Star Trek?
Wars.
Okay,
Wars.
Jim Reed. Jim Reed was first. So Jim, this is going to be your question. So Star Wars, if you had to position the Simplifi solution to the Rebel Alliance, how would you do it?
Well, all right. It's a great question. I'm going to kind of spin it a little bit from just the Rebel Alliance and really kind of just tie this all in. So I think reading through some of these questions that are coming in, do we have this in Vienna channel? So no, Verizon doesn't have it in Vienna channel. This is channel products, right? So this is where you get the experts in channel, like Mike Pittman and CSG. So anytime that we're going to be looking at this type of service, we're going to utilize our mobility co-sell program, which Mike Pittman is leading right now with CSG, and Simplifi being the OEM out there. So if we're talking to some of these Star Wars forces, Jesse, first thing, it's super easy, right? It's compact, and it really does fit all different segments and verticals. Kara, to your point, primary, backup, tertiary, work from home scenario, SOHO, enterprise locations, point of sale, camera applications, kiosks. It can fit with any sort of solution. Anytime that we're talking about connecting a customer or somebody in the dark Rebel forces, whatever it may be, this is something that we want to talk about. Mike made a great point earlier about the jetpacks and MiFis. We're starting to see that change a little bit. We need a more sustainable solution. This is where we need to put our focus.
And Mike, if you want to hold it up, or Nick, hold the solution up. I believe it is the size where it can fit in a droid should you need to smuggle it aboard a departing ship. So
there's my Verizon Fios remote as scale for you.
Perfect. And Nick, I did mute you because I was getting a little bit of feedback, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
I was going to say it's about the size, a little bit. Yoda could even smuggle this right underneath his little cape.
I think small. Baby Yoda would probably eat it. So we'd need to figure out.
Baby Yoda's on my desk. I have Baby Yoda for inspiration.
One use case, guys, that I just remembered we worked on a customer with, and I think you guys have had some success with over at Simplifi, is that I think just kind of encapsulates what's great about the product and the ease of use. Our customers that own a bunch of rental properties, we were talking about a customer that owned a whole bunch of Airbnbs in a beach town and wanted to have better control of their connectivity at those spots. So he was able, I think he had like 30 some houses, and he was able to put Simplifi in each house and then monitor from his remote portal the data usage and be able to manage the platform from where they are. I thought that was brilliant. And that is just a prime example of the type of customer that there really isn't another solution that was going to work for them, or there was, but it would have been astronomically more expensive than what Simplifi baked together for them. So I just wanted to throw that use case out there because it kind of, to me, it got my head spinning on what other opportunities of that type of scale where one business owner has got to maybe monitor multiple locations or sites or individuals or employees. And it really is great for that. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Random thought. Sorry, Jesse.
No worries. We're still on topic. We have a lot of topics. But, from what I've been hearing from everybody, there's a lot of value added services to partnering with CSG and Simplifi, from the customer support, the customer service offerings to the, that managed service aspect where you can have control at, either an individual or an enterprise level to help troubleshoot if you need to, or kind of manage it internally if you have your own IT team. So I think there's a lot of great opportunity across the board. But all right, Jim, we'll go back to you again. So once we have a customer that is interested, say they fell for the Baby Yoda pitch, they are sold. They're like, this sounds great. Your Rebel Alliance solution story that you shared just really inspired me. I'm sold. What are the next steps? How are people going to engage with CSG to offer this to their customers?
Awesome. So it's a number of different things that we can do. I think if we want to try to keep this as streamlined as possible, the best method would be for us to submit a PRM lead. Okay. Most of the participants on this call know how amazing CSG and their sellers are. So there might be direct access or a connection via email or phone call with those team members. And we'd still encourage that, of course. Typically, CSG, because they do so much business in panel and with our program, in this case scenario with Simplifi, in PRM, we would select Tesco as the distributor and CSG as the partner, okay? That's how they'll flow over. But of course, again, you can certainly reach out to them directly. You can reach out to me directly if you guys like. I would expect that after we start talking more and more about this, considering that it is new for the Verizon network, almost a year, believe it or not, but we're going to see a lot of feedback. Kara and I have talked about this, a lot of sellers inside of Verizon that we've communicated with recently. We are getting exponential feedback and interest. So the quickest way, PRM, if you need to reach out to your seller at CSG or myself, I'd be more than happy to connect you. Hope that answers the question, Jesse.
Yes, thank you. All right, so I'm going to move over to some of the questions we're getting in, from the Q&A, and I do want to apologize. Yes, it is Grogu, not Baby Yoda, but Baby Yoda will forever be eternal. So for those of you who haven't seen the show, yes, it is officially Grogu. But moving over to the Q&A chat, some of the questions that we're receiving, would this solution support external antennas in a poor signal office? And just a reminder, Nick and Mike, you will need to unmute yourselves if you want to jump in here.
Yeah, so this device does not support external antennas. We do have roadmap for the new Simplifis that are going to be launching Q3, Q4 that do have external antenna capabilities, and also will have 5G capabilities as well. So we do have a consistent roadmap to go support all of the latest technologies, be it 5G, be it Wi-Fi 6, external antennas, in the roadmap.
All right, and when you plug this device in, what kind of square footage should we have it expect to cover?
That's an interesting question. It really depends on topology of a building, right, in the room. So we plugged them in. We have an office in Detroit. It's over 10,000 square feet. It's a warehouse facility, and we can have one Simplifi that actually plugged in the center that provides Wi-Fi coverage throughout the facility. You start getting into topologies in Manhattan, right? You're probably going to be looking at 600, 800 square feet, depending on, if there's steel in the walls or whatever the case may be. But the Wi-Fi range is really, really solid on the product.
And when it comes to extending the network, if you do have, like steel walls or like your own separate panic room, and you need to have separate extended access, is it just a matter of plugging in more?
Yeah, actually what we're doing right now, that's a great question. We are enabling meshing capabilities because of our chipset that we currently have in it. So we are going to be coming out with a new software release to support in the very near future, where we'll be able to mesh the devices. So think of them as extenders, if you will. So if you have a good connection in one location, then you'll be able to use the other Simplifis as repeaters and be able to mesh the network. So that will be an option as well.
Okay, and when we spoke earlier, you know, about planning for this panel, one of the comparisons that was made, even on the flyer that went out, was, you know, it's somewhere between a MiFi and a traditional router, but it doesn't necessarily compete one-to-one with a MiFi. Can you expand a little bit about the differences and where it might fit versus not?
So the real question and the real thing that happens to us, and this has been something that we've dealt with over the past few years when we have initial conversations with people, because of the way that Simplifi looks, right? It looks like it's so easy. People automatically compare us to a MiFi just because of its size, and there's no external power supply, no external antennas. So we kind of get lumped into that category. But from a portability and mobility standpoint, it's spot on. It has all those value attributes. But when you start getting into more enterprise grade routing features and functions, that is where we have a full routing stack that competes with all the enterprise routing products that are currently out there, the remote management capabilities, the portals. So we basically have brought the best of both worlds, the portability, the mobility of a MiFi, and the enterprise grade routing features and functions and ease of deployment, brought it all into one product and being able to now provide it into the Verizon network. So that's why I think it has so much diversity across verticals, right? I think Cara answered it well. What are the good opportunities? There really isn't a bad one, right? There could be scenarios like, for example, if you do need to, you want to plug it into, 4 stories down in a basement in a government building, probably not going to be the best. But 95% of the opportunities that we get put in front of, we typically win if given an opportunity and people really understand the true value proposition of our product.
Yeah, so I'm getting like 17 questions in a row to start talking about price. So I think we have people interested, they're sold. They want to get into a little more detail on kind of the pricing structure options and whether there's any additional cost for that cloud management feature. So I think it was Jim or Mike if you wanted to take this one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna shameless plug here, guys. We're not gonna talk pricing on this call, but if you refer to your playbook that everyone on this call should have received at the beginning of the month, you will see a Simplifi promotion with a price right there on the front page. And everything, guys, you'll have to understand, based on the opportunity and how they're being activated. That's why it's tough to talk about pricing, as you guys know. There's a lot of different scenarios that go into how we can price a project, if it's 10 pieces or 10,000, and what data plans are they being activated on, and a bunch of different factors. But if you check out that playbook, there might be a hint waiting there for you on the Simplifi offer as we launched a promotion there on that went out earlier this month.
One of the other questions that I see coming through is, does it give you the ability to filter content? Is that where that option sits?
Yes, through third parties for sure, like CyberReef, which is already working with Simplifi, and they have outstanding content filtering platforms that can be provided with the Simplifi device. Asavi, which you guys you paid on in the bus, their product will work with Simplifi as well. So absolutely, adding filter content management is available at any time with these products as well.
Fantastic. And Kara, I know you are a perfect example right now because you are working from your mom's house today. And tell her I love the painting, by the way. It's brightens up the room. So, there's so many opportunities to, as we see with COVID, to bring the work home and even beyond. We're seeing a lot of companies kind of extend their work from home offerings to their employees to continue far beyond, once we get a vaccine and things go back to normal. So, what are you looking for potential customers to push?
So it really then becomes, the Verizon network is readily available wherever they are. It really then also becomes the simplicity of use. I do like this product also. I'm notorious for my jetpack never being charged. Where is the charger? I got to charge it up. And, it may not work for you. So this, again, it just plugs into the wall and it has its dedicated space that it's going to work for you, and you can plug into it directly if necessary. So it goes back to instant access, great coverage, and then just ease of use. Very simple.
Those are good points, especially because I did at one point have a MiFi about 7 years ago. I have no idea where it went. So if I could have just plugged it in and left it somewhere, it probably would.
I know, right? You lose the darn thing. I can't tell how many customers I have. They're like, I can't find that. Fuck.
Unfortunately, that was a Verizon write-off. Sorry. So yes, check for the Simplifi solution. There are a lot of questions I think that we've already answered about more of the technical aspects, but Nick or Mike, if you want to go into some of the more technical highlights of Simplifi, that might be of interest to our audience today.
Well, I'll kind of give a high level. So basically, it's a Cat4 modem. We have a Qualcomm Wi-Fi chipset. We have both 2.4 and 5.8 available in that radio. You can connect up to 32 simultaneous devices. It also has the external Ethernet port, so you can plug that into a switch or whatever else you might want within an office. We provide the USB 3 dongle for the input. So we have the ability, that also comes with the device as well. We have a full remote management stack as well. Full enterprise grade routing stack with IPsec port forwarding, L2TP, WireGuard capabilities just on the VPN side. IPv4, IPv6, just to kind of name a few. But if anyone's interested, I think Mike has a full spec sheet on the device and can send it out to anybody that's looking for any of those details.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was just confirming, Jesse, yeah, any spec sheets, data sheets you guys want to see, even if you want to speak to our engineers that tested it, Nicholas Rinku, who is our chief engineer, took this home to Albany, New York, did a bunch of testing. If you have any questions for him on the technical side, as you guys know, I'm just a pretty leprechaun face for the organization. I'm not a technical expert, so I'll tag in the experts.
You need the Jim beard, by the way, Mike. That would make it full leprechaun.
That would take me 9 years to grow.
I mean, Jim, I think, was clean shaven yesterday, so I don't know what happened there. But people seem to be very excited about getting that spec sheet, the data sheet, the promotional flyer. And I know we're not going to get into pricing because there's so many variabilities, but when it comes to the hardware itself, is that something the customers would buy? Could they lease it? How does that work?
Yeah, the great thing about purchasing through CSG, and sometimes we aren't the best at making this completely clear. Our sales guys, I've been working on them to be better about it, but there are so many different ways from a hardware perspective that we can collect payment, and it can be through any OpEx model or CapEx if they prefer. We can bake managed services in with the hardware and do it on an OpEx model. We can do extended terms if they're qualified. There's this really. I like to think that if the customer wants to buy the product for any reason, we'll find a way to let them buy it. It depends on what's best for them and their books and their accounting and what they can afford, based on how they make their money. So we're wide open to anything on that, Jesse, and always flexible to work with customers in those situations. So never rule out anything, and reach out to us and let's see if we can make it happen.
Okay. Yeah, I think my mom's going to need one, so I will send you my address after this call.
Absolutely. Piece of cake. We'll take care of her. Full managed services.
She's gonna need some. All right. So I mean, we're slowing down the questions from individuals. So Jim, do you have any deals or opportunities that you wanted to highlight that that is exciting for you when you're seeing what's coming in?
I mean, the answer is yes, and Matt might be able to talk to some of the specifics a little bit more. But yeah, I'm starting to see things across both ends of the spectrum. Obviously with Kara and where we're working with some of these enterprise customers, we're looking at some of these government and SLED opportunities. We're looking at I mean, we're seeing it across the spectrum and all very different applications. Some were in kiosks, some were for a small office, some were for, like we talked about, some of the builders. So specifically as far as excitement is concerned, no. I would say that I think I'm more content and happy to the fact that we're seeing this across all verticals and segments. So there's nothing that's being left out from utilizing the Simplifi advantage.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that. I think the number one thing we're seeing so far since we launched it, and this is still very new, that's why we're having this call right now, is to really make sure that we're introducing this product properly to the market. But what we have been doing is a lot of the work from home stuff. That's immediately when we get calls for work from home and they're coming off of a MiFi, or they're deciding to, now this team is going to work from home. What do you have that isn't a Wi-Fi? This is our lead, period. It isn't a MiFi, excuse me. So we've already started to see those trickling in, and that's been the focus right now, just based on the environment that we're in the last couple of months. But we expect to continue to see a lot of these other use cases pop up. A lot of conversations are already being started, and we're excited about this product. Again, like I said to start the call, we've narrowed our focus, and we have 13 people on our router and IoT engineering team right now. That doesn't include support. That's just basically the engineers or sales engineers. And they basically have come to us and said, we have to stop selling some of this stuff because it doesn't work. If your customer just absolutely requires it for whatever reason, great. We'll remain an authorized reseller of it, and gun to our head, we have to do it. But we're going to push customers towards the products that we know work, are simple, easy, and fill gaps. And this product is absolutely one of them that we're going to continue to push in this channel when the proper opportunities come up. And we're very happy to work very closely with Nick and Matt and the Simplifi team on this. We believe that it's something that, as they continue to grow and release new products, this name is going to stay in the Verizon landscape for some time. We're excited to be a part of it.
Just one additional thought. We do see a lot of opportunities and a great pairing opportunity with OneTalk and the Simplifi router, right? Because we've gotten a lot of feedback from existing Verizon customers that maybe have had OneTalk service tied in with Jetpacks, and they're just not getting the connectivity that they need to support those solutions. And so we've actually developed even a SKU where we have our QoS already built in that prioritizes the SIP trafficking. So it's a great marriage. And again, an out-of-box solution. You don't need a technician to set it up. We've already pre-configured it to be able to support these use cases. So tying it together with those types of opportunities is a great sell with the failover solution or as a low bandwidth primary. So just another thought.
Jesse, can I cut in for 1 second? So we're getting a couple text messages here. I just want to clarify a little off topic. So Jeff DeBeach still manages the CSG relationship. I am not the point person for CSG. I am working with Simplifi to go to market and partnering with Jeff DeBeach and the CSG team. So I don't want to.
Listen, guys, hold on. I dropped Jeff DeBeach. I had enough DeBeach. You guys caught it. You caught us. Sorry, Jeff. It's all Jimbo moving forward. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, I got to take shots at Jeff when I can.
Yeah, thank you. So just want to be clear to all the participants. Jeff is still the point of contact. I'm going to be a value add accessory on the side, but also really working with Simplifi to drive this collectively with the team. So I just want to make sure that I don't get blocked by Mr. DeBeach, you know what I mean? So I have to clarify that. Thank you.
There's no CSG without Jeff DeBeach. He can't get away from us that easily. A reminder, though, that Jim does represent Tesco. He represents the Tesco relationship with Verizon. And in this scenario, guys, you have to put your leads in through Tesco. Obviously, if you put it in through Ingram, which is what you're probably used to doing for us, we'll figure it out and move it over. But preferably, we don't have to do that. So just remember Tesco, who we do like a lot. Those guys are in Baltimore. They're friends of ours. And, you know, just make sure for anything simplified that you go through Tesco for leads and that you're working with CSG.
Yes, I want to thank Chris for putting a link to a 10-page support guide in the chat window for those of you who want to take a look. And then one final question. You know, this is a product that is available on all carriers. So Kara, I'm going to ask you, you know, the biggest question, why Verizon? And I think you were on mute, so I'm gonna, there we go.
I'm unmuted, thank you. Well, so why Verizon is, it's our network, right? So our network is fantastic. And we all know how great the network is. But in addition to that, it's also the support that we provide to our customers, no matter what type of customer that they are. And then throw in the mix, you've got Simplifi directly as well as the CSG team, and it's just a win all the way around. So why not Verizon?
Awesome. Well, thank you. We are coming up on our 60 minutes. So, you know, some last questions. Yes, it can do IP pass through. You guys can get a sheet if you are interested in learning more or submitting an opportunity. You'll be directed to the PRM link. But any closing thoughts in our final 2 minutes? I'll open it up to the panelists.
I'll close out and just say my favorite part about these is seeing the people that I know and respect and work with. Like, I use the word colleagues. I'm not sure the definition of colleagues, but as close as I work with you guys, I feel like you're my colleagues. But so many questions from folks that I've done so much work with in the past, and it's awesome to see you guys. And thank you for taking the time to join. And you know how much I appreciate all of you. So that's what I'll say to end it. Let's light up some lines and have a great year. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks everybody. Mike, I apologize. We had to cut your interpretive dance. So maybe next time. We have a lot of possibilities. So thank you everybody for joining, and have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.